Hi, a very good day to all of our lovely viewers. So, today on our performance podcast, we've got this insane person, someone that I've spoken about a lot in the past as a colleague who's inspired me a lot. She is the one and only athletic therapist in the entirety of India. And she's none other than my best friend Navnita Gautam. Hi Navnita, how are you?
I'm very good. Thank you so much, Harini, for having me on this show. And looking forward to this lovely podcast with you all and you as well.
That's great. And to give a brief introduction on Navnita, she is the athletic therapist, the head athletic therapist for an IPL and a WPL team. She's worked with Netherlands cricket. She's done some work with the European Golf Tour, with the Ladies European Tour, and I think Live Golf as well. That's like a very huge panel. And getting this girl, getting her to sit down for 25 minutes has been a challenge. So thank you so much for taking that time out. So Nav, just to get started, can you please tell me and to everyone who's watching, what is athletic therapy?
Very good question. Thank you. So, athletic therapy is part of a multidisciplinary team, and it's a very good addition to a multidisciplinary team. So, in a team, you could have a doctor, a physio, an S&C, and definitely an AT as well, which is an athletic therapist. We honestly, we are on site, on field, as well as we're in the clinic as well. Just depending on where you're at, like in Canada and US, where athletic therapy is very popular, we do have majority of our ATs on site, on field, and very less in the clinic, but it can go either which way depending on which state you're at. And we do prevention, assessment, treatment, as well as like any sort of on-field emergency care as well. And in the States, it's called athletic trainer. In Canada, it's called athletic therapist. It's in a bachelor's and a master's program. And once you're done, then you can do more clinical internships and on-field internships with whichever team you would like to. And that's where you enhance your skills and go to the direction of what you are more interested in. Athletic therapy in Asia is not picking up as much, but in the last couple of years, a lot of people are moving to Asia as well and to promote athletic therapy. Honestly, we work very well with physios as well and S&Cs, and depending if an AT works under a physio, you go more into the lines of doing PT stuff as well. And physiotherapy, again, another awesome profession, and they go more extensively into the neuro component and more clinical component, where ATs kind of more are just into the care of right before, just that aspect. So we've learned everything that's needed from mobilization, mulligan, and all the soft tissue work. The taping we are top notch with as well. And it kind of just depends which direction we want to go and which team or which clinical aspect we want to go in. We'll further our knowledge accordingly.
That was a very detailed description of what athletic therapy is. So just a few points that I want some more clarity on is a lot of times people tend to get confused between athletic therapy and physiotherapy and massage therapy, which seems to be like the biggest issue.
Yeah.
So if you could like clearly demarcate where it ends and begins or where it overlaps.
Honestly, it is right in the middle, actually. Like comparative to, I'm just comparing it to myself mainly. I do a lot of soft tissue work, and not because of anything, it's because I love it. I've done post certifications after my athletic therapy degrees, only because I've started to really understand the value of soft tissue. And therefore, I would say it's right in the middle between massage and physio. However, there are some ATs that don't believe in the soft tissue aspect and would be in line with more of PTs as well. It just, again, it depends on the nature of where the athletic therapist goes for internships and whether he or she would like to do like a post or master's, a post or bachelor's, any certifications, and therefore you're pretty much aligned with any sort of profession that's there.
That's lovely. And how much of work do you guys do with active rehab?
Active rehab quite a bit. It's same thing. When an athlete is under you, you make sure you're taking them through the whole, from the injury, the start of the injury to the return to play phase. However, like I said in the beginning, having a multidisciplinary team and like minds, I think the goal at the end of the day is to get the athlete back as quick as possible. So whether we take specialist opinions from other physios, radiologists, and doctors like you as well, I think at the end of the day that we need to get the athlete back as safe as possible and as quick as possible. So I by any chance, like I love asking people's opinions and stuff. Not by, and I have no means to step on anyone's shoes. It's just to get the athlete back. And I think that's the strongest base that anyone can do in a sports medicine professional environment.
That's wow. And you've been doing such amazing work with at your academy back in Chandigarh that you have with your partner Amba, right?
Yes.
So yeah. So and you've got your own clinic set up there, where you practice. Yeah, I've heard so much about it. So can you tell me how you started this journey, like back from where you were born, what you were doing?
Oh, this is gonna be fun. So when I was a kid, I'm still a kid right now. So when I was a kid, my dad used to watch India cricket matches and like 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning, due to the time difference. And he used to drag me out of bed and be like, watch with me, because my mother was like, you do you, I'm not waking up for this match. So I used to watch with my dad, didn't understand a thing about cricket, because in North America, no one plays cricket. Yes, now it has changed completely. Cricket is starting up, but it's still not a main sport there because of, you can say, weather conditions. You can be like just promoting of that sport is just, it's coming up. So I remember when I was a kid, I was like watching cricket and I just never understood the game. Like, kyun hota hai? Samajh nahi aa rahi thi. So then, dheere karke, the one thing since I was a kid that, that highlighted me, I was like, why wasn't there a girl in a men's team? That it was just something that hit me when I was like 10 years old. And then I kept that in my head. I'm like, okay, cool. Told my dad one time that I really want to go to India, and like I don't understand why, in Canada everything is so equal. What's the issue there? He was like, you're still young, as you grow you'll start you'll learn everything. I'm like, okay. Did my elementary, high school, I was born there. I did my elementary, high school. I did my first degree, which is my athletic therapy degree. And then I did my master's from Arizona State. And afterwards, I still had this dream that I was like, you know what? Why isn't there a girl in the men's team? And as an athletic therapist, I worked in men's team my whole life in Canada.
Wow.
Sorry, Canada and the States.
Wow.
Because a lot of our college and university teams used to play in the States. So it was like a neighboring country that I used to go frequently. And as I was going, then I slowly got into chiropractic school in Portland. My parents were very happy, and they're like, mera putter banega ek chiropractor.
I did not know this. That's interesting.
Perfect. So Portland, Oregon, I got into chiropractic school. And then I remember deep down in my gut feeling, I was like, nah, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be, chiropractors are very good, but I don't think it was the best fit for me, because it was a 15, 20-minute session, crack, pop, snap, which is amazing. However, I wanted to take an athlete on their journey from, being, when they have a niggle or injury, to their getting back on the field. And I didn't want to miss out on that. And so it took a lot of courage to kind of tell my parents, which East Indian parents, they're just like, no. Chiropractors are considered doctors also in North America. So like, nay, putter, you need to be a chiropractor. And I'm like, nay, yaar. So after I deferred for a year, I convinced my parents, like, just give me a month. Let me go to India. Let me figure it out. So I went. I had no connections. Straight from Delhi, took a train to Bombay, took a train to Bangalore, met people along the way who's really, really helped me in my career. Like a lot of physios and radiologists and doctors who I've worked under in clinics in Bangalore and Bombay have really helped me. So I'm super grateful for that. And obviously there was challenging times where what I've gone through, which I feel it's hard for me to share it, because it's something that I'm really happy it happened to me, because then I knew the full vision of, like, I was more clear on how I should act and how I should work. So going along the lines, I got to Bangalore, worked in a clinic. Slowly, I got recognized with a lot of cricketers. Cricketers kept treating them, and then slowly got into the big league of treating the big cricketers. And then it got me my lovely interview for IPL, and then I cleared that. Then the rest was history. And I really, really wanted to be in a men's team. It was something that, like, I was, how, like, when you're, like, my grandma told me this. My grandma told me one thing before she passed away. she was like, don't do a 9 to 5 job, puttar. Ho gaya tera. Like, a 9 to 5 job, mat kar. Sab karte hain 9 to 5 wala job. When she was on her deathbed, she was like, you need to do something that will change the world. Like, as in, you need to do something that is you first to do something so people will look up to you, and not as an idol. It's nothing about me being an idol, and that is just like to change mentality, and bring equality, bring happiness. And when I got that, the amount of support I got from women was extraordinary. And I tell my husband this each time. It's like, this is the most privileged and grateful. I'm so grateful for this daily. Is like these messages just empower, like it's especially if you're a woman, it'll keep empowering you to become better, be better. And 6 years I'm with IPL and 3 years with WPL, and along with my golf, it's so serene how everything has come true. But there was a lot of roadblocks on the way, and there were some changes that I had to do as a person, which I didn't know. I was a 25-year-old coming to India, barely came in between my childhood, but I really had to change, like how to conduct myself as well. And slowly, you kind of learn that along the way. And yeah, another cool fact is I actually lied to my parents
Oh, okay. Interesting.
that I got a job in India, but I didn't. So they can book my flight to go to India.
Oh, okay. So
Because I was broke after college. So then I told my dad, like, oh, I got a job with India basketball team, which I actually got a job when I got to India, but I volunteered for it. My parents till this day didn't know about it. But I lied to them. And then if I wasn't for that little lie, and it was a solid flight, but because my parents were very, like, you won't fit in India, it's very different in India, which I think it's very difficult to describe, but they were being protective. They're being like, you have a solid job here, everything is set here. Why are you going back? हम इंडिया छोड़ के क्या ना आए तुम वापस कितने क्यों जा रही हो वापस? I'm like, यार जाना तो है यार. You need to do something different in life, and I'm so grateful I did this move. Now they love me and they know that I lied, but थोड़ा सा ना वो ना बीच में हो गया था.
Wow, wow. See, it takes a lot of courage, a lot of guts to actually, just not have anything on hand and change an entire country, like to a place that, okay, you have your roots there, but you're not familiar with it, at all. And knowing you have a bit of a language issue as well. With all of that, just moving across continents, man, hats off. And genuinely, you've inspired so many people, myself inclusive, by shattering that glass ceiling. Becoming the first female in a men's team within India, that's just like insane. Just wow, hats off. And having currently even working in, say, the European circuit within India, you've had that exposure in North America and Canada. If you had to draw a parallel and say, like, these are things that are just amazing here, and these are things that I wish improves in India, where would you put that?
I think it's this might or might not be connected. Just let me know. I can reiterate a little more. But I feel like how to conduct yourself, you have to be very careful. Where like when you're in Asia, I wouldn't say just India, maybe in Asia, and compared to outside of Asia, like North America and stuff. Because I guess if you're like how I was before, I'm still bubbly, but I was even more bubblier when I first came. So that kind of like that's the person in front of you could be misinterpreted in a lot of ways, which I didn't know. I generally did not know until I got here. And then again, it's nothing bad. It's just like it's a learning curve for me. If I can tone down a bit, why not? It's not something that's like really, really crazy of a change. And that's one. And secondly, it's like I don't think I'll ever leave India, because I remember this one time where I was in Chandigarh in my clinic, and people from like rural villages in Haryana used to take like 4 kente bus rides just to see me, like especially wrestlers, boxers, and those kind of stuff, just for this 1 hour treatment. And they barely had money and stuff, but at the same time, this gesture of bringing me like laddoos and mithai and all that kind of stuff. And just being so appreciative and stuff. I don't see that anywhere outside of India. Like the amount of, like, like speaking to Haryanavi, you get very like, in the beginning, you're like, oh my God, they're very tough voice and stuff, but the most genuine human beings. And the way that, and they have no knowledge about their bodies, why the injury happened, no such thing as workload management. And I'm like, yeah, paise rakh, let me treat you. And it's just the best feeling in the world to get someone who doesn't know anything and like that is like, and for
And
them
they
to touch
trust
your
you
feet.
so much.
Yeah, and taking a 4 hour bus ride and take a 4 hour ride, I'm like, that for me is the most surreal feeling for me. Is if I helped someone that was really can't afford and stuff. And in my badminton academy, Akshit and I also have made a point that those that cannot afford, we just keep them free. I'm like, do khel.
Wow.
Because sometimes when a kid plays a sport, that's their escape route from home, especially with a lot of financial burden in the house, the male working and stuff. It's for the kid to kind of express himself. And Akshat and I have thought about it. We're like, we won't want to take that away from a kid.
Wow, I'm actually getting goosebumps listening to
Ah.
that. That's like the most beautiful thing I've heard someone say. And I really think we need a lot more people like you and Akshit who are like ready to just put everything on the line, because I know how much work goes into your academy and how much time you guys take and effort you take. So just saying that it's okay, I'm going to put my profits aside and I'm just going to, focus on the sport.
Yeah.
Hats off, guys.
Like money will come if you're good. It'll come. But I
That's-
think these little things we kind of forget about. And if you help एक other person, you yourself you'll feel good.
So talking about that, talking about kids who are, using sport
Yeah.
as an escape route. How do you think we can encourage most people to take up sport as a lifestyle?
Honestly, it can be as so. What I started doing when I came to India in 2018 first is in rural village in what's it called? Sorry, it's called Samundara. It's like a little village in Punjab, and the town, the big town near it is called Navashed. I went to rural villages where they have no sport at all. Like as a small little elementary school that's there. I put a basketball hoop there and like a little soccer thing. I've named it Hoops for India.
Oh, wow.
It was supposed to be Hopes, but I needed Hoops because it was closer to like the basketball
Is
ring.
it still active?
It's still active, but
Wow.
I'm not visiting as much as possible. And I try giving tangible items, like in terms of like sporting equipment to the kids, because I know that my money is spending, the kids will actually use. And I have a principal who's a family member who I know that it's going to a good cause. And I feel like in rural villages, if you get them to just play a sport, that'll go really big in life, like for them. And I feel that that's where the grassroots levels needs to start from there.
Absolutely. And is this something that you're planning on?
Yes, I feel like
persisting with?
I'm gonna put my hand up and be like, I haven't been very good going to rural villages just because of time, but I feel like that's just an excuse for me. And I feel like the more I keep doing it in little villages, then we can make a little bigger academy in a big town. So all the little academies in the little villages can't go to the big town, and then eventually that's how growth happens, right?
Exactly.
And the more amenities we give to kids, I think it's just going to be good. And I think if the government definitely helps with that, they're doing a phenomenal job, but a little bit more edge with sports. Because sometimes it's hard for them to come to the big towns like Chandigarh and Delhi and Bombay, Bangalore right away. And they need to start from the grassroots levels. And it shows confidence to the parents and also like, hey, mera bacha khel sakta hai.
Yeah.
And therefore, a little bit of investment can go from their angle as well. So just that, and even if it's not even playing a sport, at least help with some sort of amenities. Like, it's really not a lot of money. Like,
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
if we spend even like 2,000 rupees for a kid, that will take them a long ways.
So true. So true. Something
Absolutely.
simple, maybe a ball,
Very
a
simple.
shoe, or whatever.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's just insane. So for my final question, this is something that I actually talk to about with every sports science professional that we have on our podcast, is an MDT, a
Yeah.
multidisciplinary team,
Yeah.
is a concept that is just budding
Hanji.
in India. I mean, I
Yeah.
think it's been taking off for the past year and a half.
Hanji, yeah.
So, and having worked in an
Yes.
MDT for so long, what kind of an impact do you think this has on an athlete and their recovery journey, and more importantly, on their prehab?
Honestly, MDT, multidisciplinary is it's what I've worked with, all my time when I was in Canada and the States. The reason why this works is it's a one-stop shop. The athlete can blindly walk into a room and trust his or her body to a team and be like, "Theek kar do mujhe." And I feel like MDT is developing in India, which is such a good thing because we're learning how to not step on each other's shoes, but we can nicely overlap each other, which is really good, and communicate what is best for the athlete. What is best for the athletes in terms of safety to getting back and the quickest return to play when getting back. And again, the priority, the central thing is the athlete themselves. I feel like MDTs are finally being developing is because I think the little bit of insecurity that people do have, or the little bit the ego part, needs to kind of, like suppress down and just accept that someone is an expert and better than that. Like me, I'm willing to put my hand up and be like, hey, this is something that I don't know about, but let me contact XYZ to find a better solution for you. And in terms of prehab, it works excellently. That radiologist and doctor give the timeline, be like, listen, post surgery or post anything like sort of injection or whatnot, this is the recovery time, this is the restrictions, this is the do's and don'ts, stick within this limit, within this time frame. And then we again can connect to the doctor and the radiologist, be like, can we start now? And we can get back into the rehab protocol accordingly. There's going to be a time when the rehab is done, when the athlete is absolutely done. The numbers in terms of objective measures from the left and the right match up. And that's when we get the SNC involved. And then the SNC, then you have biomechanics. And then that's how, it rolls. And then you get the coaches involved after that. It's that journey and of the athlete going from, like post-surgery to getting back on the field is the most rewarding. But working as a team, it's so much easier. And you get the athletes so confident and pumped. And sometimes you need different angles and perspectives and that psychological support and, boost for the athlete. And that needs to come from not one person, but like 10.
Makes sense. And also an LTAD, I'm assuming,
Yes.
for kids as well. So
yes.
I think that was a very insightful conversation from a lot of fronts. So I think we finally know what athletic therapy is. There's no confusions, all cleared. Great. So thank you so much now for taking the time out today again once more. And yep, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.